Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers, about hikers, for everybody.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning.
Welcome to the Jester Section Hiker Podcast, with the spotlight on section hikers.
And I'll spread the word, and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come. And we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the podcast. And once again, happy September and happy Mountains of Sea Trail birthday month and happy Jester's birthday month.
Yeah, birthdays all around.
I'm just going to say that for every episode in September because it's fun.
Why not?
Why not? So, okay. So if you guys are listening to this, it is Saturday, September the 10th. And last week I talked about a hike that I was going to be on this week. So you're either hiking with me or you missed out, as Austin said. Or Austin said to me, I should say.
Yep.
And all these dates are getting crumbled up. So we're getting confused. But yes, today, if you're listening to this on Saturday, September the 10th, I am leading a hike in Elkin, and I hope you're with me. And we're having an amazing time. And this week, we're going to get right to some upcoming events that we have. And then we're going to get to putting together the episode that is part of our I Am The MST series titled The Foundation. So first and foremost, the next September Saturday, where we want to see all of your amazing faces, because we are going to be in Hillsborough, North Carolina on Saturday, September 24th. At the main branch library at 9 a.m. There are 95 seats at this library, and we want to pack the house because we are going to be featuring the Foundation episode that we are going to be talking about today that you guys are able to view over on Austin's channel, Side Trail Adventures. And I'm just going to go ahead and say we have a sponsor. The Mebane Trail Rangers are providing, awesome. Yes, wonderful coffee and muffins as you all arrive for the premiere in Hillsborough at 9 a.m. on September the 24th. Go Mebane Trail Rangers.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you guys there. It is going to be amazing. And after we show the premiere, then what are we doing, Austin?
We're going to go do some hiking.
With who?
The star of the show for this particular episode that we're going to talk about today, Miss Beverly Scarlett.
Amazing. Oh,
okay,
yeah. I can't get emotional yet. I got one more thing we got to talk about. I know, here I go.
We're just starting this episode. You gotta pace yourself here, Jester.
I know, I got to. Oh, goodness. Listen, I got emotional from the first interview with Kate Dixon, and it's just been an emotional roller coaster ever since. But before we get into that madness, we also have another project that we are going to be working on. And I shouldn't call it a project. It's actually a retreat with the Hiking Radio Network crew at Woods Hole Hostel. So we invite you guys to join us if you are interested in workshops, a retreat for 4 days, hanging out with myself, Steve Adams, the owner of the Hiking Radio Network, Clay Bonnyman Evans, or otherwise known as Pony, who is almost a triple crowner. He's done the AT. He's written a book about it called The Trail is Your Teacher. And he has, last year he did the Pacific Crest Trail and he wrote a book about that. So Pony is going to be joining us. And I feel like right now he's out on the CDT, but I could be wrong on that. And then Paul Collins is going to be there, also known as Skunk Ape. And he hiked the Appalachian Trail and he stayed in his hammock all the way up the trail. So he's going to be all things how to hammock your way up the AT. And what this retreat overall is about. If you have any desire whatsoever to through hike or section hike the Appalachian Trail, it is a weekend of workshops. And our host is Neville, the owner of Woods Hole Hostel. And all you Appalachian Trail folks out there, I know you know about Woods Hole Hostel. It is a special place, and she is an amazing human being. And we're going to be there, and we hope you join us. The slots for this, I believe it's 12 to 15 people. And there will be a link in the show notes with all of the information. And Austin has a special job that weekend. But Austin, what are your thoughts on the weekend?
I seriously am just, I'm going to be like a sponge the whole time. Just being able to see all these people in one place and getting to hang out for 4 days. Like you said, it's not really like a project. It's like a retreat in and of itself. So it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
But you won't hear me talking much.
Austin's going to be busy doing. What'd you say the last episode?
I'm going to have a new role.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you said that. You said something else.
I can't even remember.
I can't remember. Maybe it'll come to us. But like I said, slots are limited. So hopefully you signed up last week. But we wanted to remind you guys that you can come join us. And I probably did a terrible job talking about this, but all the information is over on Neville's website, Woods Hole Hostel. That link will be in the show notes. You can find out all about it. And I would love to see you all and spend some time with you guys talking about the Appalachian Trail. And you guys will get to meet Austin.
Yeah. And everybody else.
Yay.
It'll be good times.
We've got a few things going on. I think I said this last episode, but this time I'm 99.9% sure we're going to have something else going on after October, but we'll see what happens. As long as Austin keeps saying yes, and me as his booking agent, I will keep. I will keep. What did I say today? I was Jester Productions.
Yeah.
So your Side Trail Adventure Studios at Jester Productions.
We're gonna have to come up with some like way to combine those. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Hey, maybe somebody will come up with something for us. Who knows?
Yeah.
So we've got that going on, but specifically this week, we are going to talk about or give you a behind the scenes or tell all chat about how we put this episode together. And I made a note here to kind of start off this episode. And I think this is really true for me. And I know it's true for you, but I want to confirm that it's true for you. So in the last episode, I said, I'm going through these emotions and I'm still going through these emotions. And I can honestly say that March 3rd, 2022 changed me creatively forever. The way I think about things, as far as even putting the podcast together, what I want to talk about. And I know it changed you as well. And if you guys listened to the episode that came out a couple weeks ago where we talked about how this whole project came together, you guys will know we had an opportunity to sit down with Darwin, or Nick Rakestraw, also known as Darwin. And I mean, he kind of just changed our perspective. And I think that time that we were able to spend with him has also helped us, create these episodes and what we're doing. So I've been long-winded, Austin.
No, I mean, you said it. I mean, that meeting, even though as we were sitting there, you know, across the table and listening to him talk and he's listening to us talk, I mean, I don't think any of us really understood the significance of what we were experiencing at that particular time. But you're right. Our perspectives were changing. And I think we didn't, yeah, I mean, we're still on that journey creatively. But I think that's where the door started to open, and where we're, maybe there's something else that we're supposed to be doing. And so this whole series, this whole project came from that meeting. So it's wild how things happen, you know, all I was thinking about was, you know, when I walked in that night, was like, holy crap, I get to meet Darwin. You know, this is the guy that inspired me to, one, get outside, not even create content, but just to get outside again. And then he's the guy that, you know, I've kind of modeled myself after as far as creating media and just the way he approaches things. And so I was all fanboy that night. Like, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. But I had no idea that it was going to change us the way it did. So yeah, it's been a wild roller coaster, but absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And little did you know, and I didn't know this either, when we showed up that night, the owner of Appalachian Gear Company was there as well.
How cool was that?
It's awesome because, and I don't talk about this a lot on the podcast because it's a hiking podcast, you know, when we're supposed to talk about hiking, right? But I also love talking about creative ideas, business, entrepreneurship, you know, what it's like to own a business, manage that business, hire employees. So while you were salivating over there with Darwin, I mean, I was literally sucking the life out of, oh my God, John.
What a metaphor.
Yeah, I know. I suck. I mean, I was just like,
there's another guy that created something from nothing and has created such an amazing product and an amazing company. There's nothing like it out there on the market, you know, because what they do at App Gear Company is so unique. There's nothing else like it. And he was, you know, one of the coolest things I thought of it was just like, he was super secret squirrel about like their process and their methods.
Yeah.
And,
which I
totally respect.
I mean, I was literally like sucking it out. And one of the coolest things, and I don't think I've talked about this either. I don't even know if you and I have discussed this. So one of the things that I do in my day job is, you know, I work with students that aren't necessarily, you know, on a college path. And, you know, we try to find them either jobs or maybe go to a tech school or something of that nature. The next thing I know, I'm talking to them about taking students to App Gear Co. in Kings Mountain and scheduling field trips and stuff. So, you know, he and I have corresponded about that because, you know, of his hiring processes and who he looks for. Yeah. You know, because they're going to be bringing on more staff, and, you know, he's not opposed to, you know, hiring students, you know, like right out of high school that, you know, have drive and ambition. And I mean, just that whole thing, you know, that meeting, you know, created so many things. And it wasn't a meeting, it was a meet up. You know, we were just hanging out. It
was literally throwing a rock into a puddle and all of these ripples that are coming from it, all these different ripples, you know, the I Am The MST project and the stuff with the students. And,
I mean, I'm thinking about one of my first students who might get hired there, you know, to work, you know, in his warehouse.
Wild.
and packaging maybe shirts that you hikers out there are going to receive could be one of my students in the future. I'm not sure. So, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I've just changed. I mean, it just changed.
Very, very good change.
Yeah. So while you were fanboying over Darwin, I was just sucking the life. I was just getting as much business content. And I was fanning over Darwin as well. But, here's the thing. He's just a normal guy.
Yeah. That's what I got out of it, honestly. Like, cause, literally hundreds of thousands of people watch his stuff. But that's what I got out of it was like, not that I'm like him, but like, he's just a normal guy. Like he's just like me in a sense. Like he just started doing what he enjoyed, and it wasn't like he had a master plan. He just went from one good idea to the next good idea to the next good idea, and then all of a sudden he's this media creator that just creates these amazing products and is a part of these amazing projects. And honestly, that's where I would love to end up. And so that's why I was fanboying over it. It was like, cause he's doing my dream job. He's creating media that he wants to create, and doing it for a living and out there doing it. So like, that's what I was just like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. So, but yeah, just going back to like the significance of that meeting, like, no idea that was going to have the impact that it did. I just thought it was going to be a cool night to get to talk to somebody that I have watched on YouTube for 3 years. So yeah, good times.
I know, it was great. And I put that in the notes to talk about that because I still think, it's just significant. And here's the other thing I was going to say that I was going to say in last episode that you don't know this yet. So out of all this, interviewing and, honing in on my interviewing skills and you honing in on your video skills and the creativity that comes from that, whether it was the mosaic or, making pictures come to life or figuring out a new thing you could do with your software. This morning, I decided I was going to write an article about this.
Oh, now that's exciting.
It is. So, and I don't have any idea where it came from. I mean, I was just sitting at my computer this morning and I was drinking coffee and I was like, okay, so we've got the podcast aspect of this, I Am The MST. We've got the videos coming out. And then I was like, we got to write this down.
That's really the only form of media that we have not covered.
So I'm telling you, I'm writing this down.
That's awesome.
And I haven't decided if I'm going to submit the writing. Well, we could talk about this on air. We can hash this out and you guys will get a taste of what we do. So my thought process was I'm going to write this. And I'm going to write it in a manner where it's me and you and kind of how we went through this process. And then I was going to submit it to the Outdoor Evolution.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, because Darwin's like, that's part of what his website is kind of showcasing other creators, which I think is awesome. The other place it should go is the MST website.
Oh, that's true. Okay, see, this is what we do, people.
And I know somebody on the board. If you need to get it in there.
Yes. And I've titled it. I have a title, and I have one sentence. You ready?
Oh, here we go.
So I've titled it "Inspired to Create." I mean, come on.
Every journey begins with a single step.
That's right. So here's the first. This is all I've written. On March 3rd, 2022, Nick Darwin Rakestraw hosted a Patreon meetup in Charlotte, North Carolina. What do you think?
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful. You can tie a bow on that and publish it.
Tie a bow on that and call it good, right? No, but everything starts somewhere, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely. That's where it started. I mean, it's only appropriate if you can tell the story. Just, just like telling the MST story, you got to start with Jim Halsey. You got to start at the beginning. Well, that's awesome.
So I'm gonna write an
that.
article. And sorry I didn't say this in the last episode. I forgot. We squirreled somewhere else.
It's fine. The last episode was about twice as long as we had intended. So
I know, and this one's going to be too, because I just looked up and we're like 19 minutes in.
It's all right.
So yeah, so I'm going to do that. So I'll keep you guys posted. Maybe next week I'll read more of what I've written.
We'll have 2 sentences next week.
We'll have 2. All right, you guys, we're going to get serious. So I think we're going to get serious.
Are we going to talk about the foundation now?
We are going to talk about the foundation. So, all right, you guys, this is the second episode that released today titled The Foundation, which is part of our series titled I Am The MST. And you guys heard last week, kind of our process of what we did, putting storyboards together, listening to music. I don't even know if we talked about the music. So the foundation with Beverly Scarlett, I don't know where to start, Austin. You may have to start us on this.
So the foundation, I think this episode specifically probably sets the series apart from others that have done stuff on the MST. When I say others, I mean like other documentaries, other creators, other media agencies that have created media for the MST or on the MST. This is where we kind of go off on a side trail adventure. Because I don't think anybody's really talked as in depth about the trail in this way. And when we say the foundation, we're not talking about how the trail started. We're talking about where the trail goes, the ground that we tread on when we walk the trail. Who was there before us? Who made it possible for us to walk there? What's the history behind the trail? And so there's, an absolute infinite amount of history that we could talk about with the Mountains of Sea Trail. Because North Carolina's history is very extensive. But what I love about what we've been able to do is talk about the history of a particular section, but make it super personal. And talking with Beverly, and she has direct ties to not only the African American population and the slaves back in the 1800s, but also the Native American population, which I think is super interesting. And she goes in depth on all of that. And so we kind of just skimmed the surface with the episode. But she wrote a couple of books and put together a few books. So if you're interested in any of that, check those out.
Yeah, that is in conjunction with the Eno River Association,
yes,
I believe.
Yes. But yeah, I think what we were able to capture with her was super unique and interesting. And
the Ribbons of Color.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was
Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Those are the names of the books. But yeah, getting to talk to her about her personal history, her family's history with the area, and then relating that to the Mountains of Sea Trail, it gives even though we just talked about a small section of trail, it gives the whole section, or the whole trail, so much more significance when you start to think about the history behind every square inch of the trail. Yeah. And the other cool thing,
because there's a Beverly story.
Yeah.
In every aspect of this trail.
And the thing that this interview and this episode have changed for me is now every trail I hike, that's what I'm thinking about. That crosses my mind, not just the, hey, I need to throw a couple of dollars at the trail maintainers, because this is hard work. And that doesn't just happen, but what happened for this trail? So this is still fresh in my mind. So I don't know if you said this at the beginning, but we're recording this episode in July, even though it's coming out in September. So I just got back from a trip out west, hiking in Washington and Oregon. And that's what I was thinking about while I was out there. Because I'm very unfamiliar with that area. I'm a East Coast guy. I grew up on this side of the country, so I've only been out to the West Coast a handful of times. And this was one of my first times hiking in that area. And so that was the thing, when I'm out there hiking, you have lots of time to think and kind of unpack your thoughts. And that was one of the things that I thought about, was the history behind that trail that we were hiking. And there's like in that particular case, we were talking, there's lots of logging and that kind of thing, but I also thought about the Native American cultures that were out there probably too. And so this is I've received so much more from this project than I've given, just because it's given me so much perspective, not just on the Mountains of Sea Trail, but hiking in general. One of Beverly's quotes was, something happened and somebody made a sacrifice so that you could be here, so that you could walk this trail. And so that's what I think
powerful.
About. My gosh, yes.
And when she says it, oh my God. I mean, here's the thing, you guys, that probably is the biggest impact for me as Austin has created, each one of these individual episodes. And one of the things that we wanted to do is, as you see these people talking, they're talking to me and Austin. Like, we're standing there and Beverly says, she's staring. She's looking at me. We're locked in our eyeballs, in our eyes. And she says, somebody paid a price. Somebody sacrificed for you to be here. And I'm not saying it directly. She says it best. And that changed me. That changed me. That changed me as a hiker. As someone that likes that changed me this summer.
Yeah.
We're in the summer and, I've been out on the Mountains of Sea Trail and that changed me. I think this whole project will just change how I hike and do a lot of things. It's
going to change our approach to not only, the media creation, your podcast and my videos, but just how we approach hiking in general, how we approach the outdoors, and probably how we approach life in general.
Yeah,
I'm
just serious.
Thinking about it in a much deeper perspective.
I have conversations with people and I'm like, don't you understand? Someone sacrificed. But they didn't hear what we heard. They weren't there.
Yeah.
And I hope as people go over and, watch the foundation today, that we were able to portray what we're talking about.
Right. That's the goal, at least.
Yeah. So, all right, you guys, with this episode, I can't remember. Is this the first one we put together, or did we save this for second to last?
Yeah, I think this was the first one we started with.
And I think we were excited. So Austin had his building blocks and what we've done. And I think you and I are both looking at this right now.
Yes.
What would you call this? A storyboard?
Yeah, that's probably the most accurate is a whiteboard, storyboard, something like that.
Yeah. So we have like 3 slides that we're looking at. And the first one, it's titled The Foundation, but it's like the beginning of the episode. And the middle of the episode is the second slide. And then the end of the episode is the third slide. And for me, my process in this is, Austin and I, talking out what goes where, what clip goes where. And then I'm out of it. And then it's Austin. And I acquiesce because I don't know how to put all this together. So
neither do I.
So, kind of like well, there you go. That's the tell it all. I don't know how to put this together. And Austin says, neither do I.
No, this is definitely a learn by doing type of situation. Because it's one thing to just record a bunch of interviews, but it's another to take those interviews. And I think I may have said this in one of the episodes we've already recorded, but we're trying to put a puzzle together, but we're starting from scratch. We're making the pieces of the puzzle, and we don't know what the picture is going to look like at the end, but we've got all these pieces, and we're trying to create a picture from all these pieces.
And there's something I want to say too, because I want people to understand, everybody knows we're amateurs and we don't know what we're doing. And I think I said in the last episode that, one of my favorite things about this is that we don't know what we're doing. And no one's going to believe me when I say this. And Austin has no idea what I'm going to say. The only person I took any notes for to interview was Kate Dixon.
That's impressive.
And I think I put the notes on the ground, and I don't even know if I don't, you'll have to remind me if I looked at them. And what I want to say with this is, and Austin doesn't even know this, with each interview, I just wanted it to unfold. We kind of had an idea, as we went, we got better. And I think I even said at one point, we need to go back and interview Kate, because I feel like, she was the first one. But she said some amazing things and we had a great conversation. But it wasn't like we had a template and we went to these interviews.
No.
And another cool thing about this is, I just emailed these people and I said, hey, listen, we're putting this project together. It's called the Am The MST, and we want to interview you, and threw out dates back and forth. And when I emailed Beverly, she was like, absolutely. I mean, everybody was like, when do you want to meet? Where do you want to meet? What's the best place? It was like, wow.
We never got one no. Yeah. Which is pretty awesome. But I'm still, let's go back, because you talked about this. So one of the things that I learned, because I ended up doing 2 interviews myself that you weren't able to come for. And those
makes me sad, but just couldn't be there.
Well, you can only be in so many places at once, because we literally drove all over the state. You specifically drove up to Raleigh like 3 weekends in a row, I think. But interviewing is not something, it's not a skill that maybe you just have it, but I don't just have it. And so I learned that interviewing is something that you have to practice. It's a skill. And so to hear that you didn't have notes for 90% of these interviews is,
you may not even have known that. I
flabbergasting.
I have
amazing.
a notebook. And I was, when we started this, I was like, I'm going to write down every question in this notebook, and then I'll just have it for my archives. And it's blank.
Amazing.
Amazing. It's like, I don't know.
Because even in some of these interviews, like, and especially with Kate, like we didn't know what we wanted her to say. But as these things go on, we kind of had a better idea. Okay, we need to steer the conversation in this direction, or because we kind of knew what we wanted people to say.
Yeah, and I will say for this episode, the foundation with Beverly, I was a nervous wreck. I mean, I was just nervous, and I say that not like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I say I was nervous because I want to do these people justice.
Right.
I want to be able to tell their story properly. I don't want them to, watch this and go, what? No, I don't want that out there. Right. So that's what I mean by nervous.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever want anybody to see this and go, that's not what I said, or that's not what you told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I feel that with the project as a whole, not just with the people that we showcase, but just with the trail in general. If the trail had a personality, I would want the trail to be happy with this, because it's got a personality and a soul of its own. And I want to do the trail justice, because it's one of those things that I'm not a North Carolina native, but it is something that I have grown to love as a transplant. And it's a journey that or a relationship that I'm still building. And I want to do it justice. I want to do the people justice. So I get it. I get the nervousness.
Yeah. So the foundation episode, I don't know. I think we're just going to have to go with, we put this together and we need you guys to go over and watch it.
Yeah.
And we need you guys to come to Hillsboro on September 24th.
Yeah, that's going to that'll be probably one of the best parts of is just being able to, especially for folks that have not had the opportunity to interview a whole bunch of people from the Mountains of Sea Trail, getting to meet Beverly will be a huge, I would, if you come for no other reason, just come to meet Beverly, because she is just an absolute wealth of knowledge, of the area and of the trail and of the North Carolina culture. It was humbling, quite honestly, to share the room with her.
And her story, as you watch the foundation, and there's something that resonates with me about her talking about, she's a Hillsboro native and grew up there and grew up on land in Hillsboro. And there's a whole story that you guys are going to hear about. And she tried to leave multiple times. And she just kept being called back for various reasons. And then she started diving into, her history, her family history. And that's where originally, when we were thinking about these titles, that's where the foundation came from, because her foundation stood firm in Hillsboro, North Carolina. And she realized when she opened herself up to staying there, wonderful things began to happen for her. And that's what I look, that's what I look at, for the foundation. And with that being said, Austin, can you think of anything else? Are we missing anything?
Go watch the episode. I mean, I think without giving away everything from the video, I think just go watch it, and go appreciate, especially we talked about this last week, but not everybody that listens to this podcast is in North Carolina. And that's where this episode is unique, in that you can apply what you learned from this episode to the trail near you, to your home trail, whether that's a big trail, a little trail, city park, state park, national park, doesn't matter. Every single footpath has a story behind it, not necessarily of how that path became to be, but the ground that you're trotting on, what people came before you, and everything has history, everything has a story. So take the time to learn the story behind your home trail. This is just one story of many from the Mountains of Sea Trail.
And I will leave it with this. We want your feedback. We don't want any negative feedback.
Yeah, only good feedback.
Only good feedback. But I really would email me, send me a DM on Instagram. However, send Austin a DM on Instagram. Give us feedback. Even before, and I will say this, it's July, we're recording this. These are going to come out in September. I've already had people, send me messages or just a quick little text. I mean, this is nothing long. Of the little blurbs I've been putting out on Instagram or whatever, and say, oh my God, why do I not know about this trail?
Mm-hmm.
Or I got to get on this trail.
That's music to my ears.
Yeah. And this is even before anything has even come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Good times.
I know. All right, you guys, we'll be back next week. And everything you need to know will be in today's show notes. And I'll leave it like I always do. Thanks for listening. Be safe out there and happy section hiking.
Good times.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning light. I wonder if you'd wander with me, and I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods. You're wondering if I go wandering with you, what kind of trouble we'll get ourselves into. Would it be wrong to tag along with a band of vagabonds? You wonder if I'd wander with you. So I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river. I'm wondering if you'd come wandering my way, if you ever get lost or if the trail leads you astray. The music of the pack can always bring you back. I wonder, can we wander away? And I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
Wells Fargo presents one of the surest ways to grow your money, a Wells Fargo CD account, where you can earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield on an 11-month term with a minimum opening deposit of $5,000. Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/CD rates to open a CD account and start growing your savings with us.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.